Leo.
Yeah?
You run your own business, right?
I like to think so.
What would you say is the most important element for you to gain a competitive advantage?
I guess the quality of my customer service.
Good call. Did you know a recent survey showed that most Australian businesses feel that way?
Well, it makes sense.
And a major threat to that is an increase in English language literacy and numeracy issues.
Really?
Yeah. Did you know 46% of working-age Australians have difficulty with reading skills and 53% have difficulty with numeracy?
So almost half of Australia's workforce can't read?
Well, a lot of them can read, but have problems understanding and communicating information. In fact, a lot of them are highly educated. That can often make the issue worse.
How's that?
Let's say you have someone working for you that has recently moved to Australia from another country and English isn't their first language. They can speak it very well, but they might have difficulties understanding certain things. But they're well educated, highly educated in a lot of these cases, and admitting the issue is just too embarrassing. So they don't seek out help. There have been cases in the healthcare industry where a simple lack of understanding, say the difference between milligrams and millilitres, has resulted in a fatal dosage being administered.
That's pretty bad.
It sure is. And it's not an issue that's restricted to people from non-English speaking backgrounds. Many people with language literacy and numeracy issues are born and educated in Australia, but they have simply missed out on developing these skills because of a whole range of reasons.
But my business doesn't deal in life or death scenarios.
Well, look at it this way. The more insecure your staff feel, the lower your productivity and the higher your staff turnover. One company found that after tailoring a language literacy and numeracy program for their staff, they had a 40% decrease in staff turnover and an almost $150,000 increase in savings. More importantly, the staff were happy and motivated.
And provided better customer service?
Exactly. Another trial used the Australian Core Skills Framework to assess the impact of language literacy and numeracy training on various participants. This trial showed a 38% increase in communication core skills and a 64% increase in learning core skills. Imagine how much more efficiently and effectively staff with improved learning and communication skills could pass information on to other staff members. That would substantially decrease your on-the-job training times and increase your potential talent pool. It would also help create a safe work environment.
There are a lot of people we employ with a lot of great skills, but we also know that there are people who, some of those people need to learn other things, and if we can make it such that people aren't afraid to say, well, look, I can't do that, I need some help with that, and if we're also proactive and make sure that we make that easy for people, and I think that there's a real benefit in that.
Angela has been a support worker for 16 years. Anyone that knows her will tell you she was born for this job. Like many in her industry, it wasn't so much that she chose the job as the job chose her. One aspect of her profession that Angela hasn't always loved is the administration side. She understands the need for keeping records, but her strengths lie in her interpersonal skills. Recently, Angela's employer has decided to update their system. Enter the 21st century, as they put it. Now all the records are done on computer. Angela uses computers every now and then for personal use. She sends emails and surfs the web. But the system that her employer is using for admin is a lot more complicated than just sending an email. Angela is confused by it and too embarrassed to talk to anyone. Her self-esteem suffered, and so in turn did her performance. Eventually, she just stopped keeping records altogether. Which is why, when she got sick, her replacement had no way of knowing the details or histories of any of her clients. The result was a frustrating and confusing back and forth, ending with an official complaint being lodged. If Angela had spoken up, her employer could have organised a training program tailored to Angela's needs. A targeted training program would mean Angela could keep her records, like always, leaving her free for the more important things.
I like to use the analogy that probably 30 years ago, workplace health and safety was not something that workplaces took as seriously as they do today. And whereas today it's part of every workplace, and a very important part of that, I think also, that language literacy and numeracy, and perhaps by a different name, perhaps communication, to look at the broadness of it, needs to be part of every workplace.
How can I implement that in my business?
The first thing you should do is get involved with the Workplace English Language and Literacy, or WELL program. It's a flexible program that's tailored to the specific needs of your workforce.
I don't think I can afford that.
It's 75% government funded, and it's an investment in your staff and the future of your company. What you should ask yourself, Leo, is how can you afford not to?
Well, what's my next step?
There's a range of things you can do. Contact your Industry Skills Council or your state training bodies for more advice, or go to Australian Government Skills Connect.